never doubted Jungkook before. He was the man who held her through her darkest night, who whispered promise against her skin, who vowed that no force in the world could ever separate them. And then the rumors started. Jungkook was seen with another woman, Han Minji, the sister of his greatest enemy, Han Ji-sung, the very woman who had been obsessed with him for years. When Wine heard the whispers, she laughed them off at first. Jungkook would never betray her. But as the days passed, doubt crept in, and when she finally confronted him, her world shattered. The apartment was eerily silent when Jungkook stepped inside. It was late, too late, but he didn't care. He had forced himself to stay away, to avoid this moment. Yet as he loosened his tie and turned toward the bedroom, he felt it, the suffocating weight of her presence. She was waiting for him. Wine sat on the edge of their bed, hands clasped tightly together, her nails digging into her palm. Her face was unreadable, but her eyes, they were burning. Jungkook stopped in the doorway, his expression blank, masking the storm raging within him. "You're still awake?" Her voice was quiet but sharp. "Where were you?" He shrugged off his pleasure, walking past her as if she was nothing more than a shadow in his life. "Busy." With Minji, Jungkook paused for half a second before moving again. He undid the top button of his shirt, his back still to her. "What are you trying to say?" "I am saying I know." Her voice wavered, but she forced herself to stay firm. "I know you are cheating on me. I know you are planning to marry her." Jungkook turned, his dark eyes locking into hers, unreadable, and then in the most chilling voice she had ever heard, he asked, "And what if I am?" A dagger to the heart. Wyan felt her breath hitch, her chest tightening with unbearable pain. She had expected denial, anger, maybe even an argument, but this was worse. "You're not even going to lie?" she whispered. A cruel smirk played on his lip. "What's the point? You already made up your mind." Wyan stood up, her fist clenched. "So that's it. You are throwing everything away. Throwing us away." Jungkook exhaled slowly, stepping closer, his towering presence suffocating. His voice was laced with venom. "Listen to me carefully, Wyan. You were a distraction, a mistake, something I entertained for a while." Her whole body went cold. No, this wasn't real. This wasn't the man she loved. Jungkook leaned down, his breath ghosting over her face. "Did you really think we would last? That I would choose you over someone like Minji? She is powerful, she is useful." Tears blurred her vision, but she refused to let them fall. "I gave you everything." He let out a humorless chuckle, and I got bored. A sharp gasp escaped her lips. She staggered back as if his sword had physically struck her. Jungkook reached into his pocket, pulling out a small black card. He tossed it into the bed. "Here," his voice was void of emotion. "Use it to pack your things. I don't care where you go." Wyan stared at the card, her mind struggling to process what was happening. "You don't mean this." He tilted his head. "Don't I?" Her vision blurred with rage and heartbreak. "I hate you." Jungkook's expression remains indifferent. Good. That was the last thing he said before turning on his heels and walking away. The moment the door slammed shut behind him, Wyan collapsed into the bed, her sobs muffled against the sheets. The following days passed in a haze of heartbreak and confusion. Wyan barely left her apartment. The wall that once held warmth and love now felt suffocating, trapping her in a nightmare she couldn't escape. She couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. All she could do was replay that night over and over in her head. Jungkook's cold world, his indifferent stare, the way he had tossed their love aside like it meant nothing. Had it all been a lie? A knock on the door pulled her from her thought. Wyan? Jimin. She hesitated before opening the door. The moment he saw her, his expression darkened. Jesus, you look terrible. Thanks, she muttered, stepping aside. Jimin walked in, glancing around. The apartment was a mess. Discarded tissue, unopened food container, and blanket thrown carelessly onto the couch. It looked just as broken as she felt. He sighed, sitting down. I don't get it. He loved you. I saw the way he looked at you, Wyan. That wasn't fake. She let out a bitter laugh, then explained why he is marrying Minji. Jimin clenched his jaw. There is nothing left to say, Jimin. He chose her. End of this story. He watched her carefully. Is it? Wyan's hands trembled slightly as she crossed her arms. I don't want to talk about this. A long silence stretched between them. Then, as if he could sense something else, Jimin narrowed his eyes. What aren't you telling me? Wyan froze. Jimin's gaze dropped to her stomach. Realization drawn in his eyes. Wyan. He inhaled sharply. Are you? Her throat tightened. I am pregnant. Jimin stared at her, his expression shifting from shock to anger. Does he know? No. Jimin's fist clenched. That bastard, he doesn't deserve to know. Wyan looked away. I don't even know if I want to tell him. Jimin exhaled. What are you gonna do then? Wyan placed a protective hand over her stomach. I'm going to be a mother. For the first time in days, she felt certainty in her words. She doesn't need Jungkook.